Hey guys, it's Lady Raven, the Wild Witch, and it is tea time. So during tea time, we generally tackle one topic that you may be wondering about or considering, and these are going to be very short videos just to kind of give you an overview, and of course, with tea. So I encourage you to grab your own tea. This week I am drinking Rooibos chai. You can order it at thewildwitch.com. And it's great because it's caffeine free and also because it's fall. Who doesn't like chai in the fall? So anyway, ooh, it's hot. So today what I wanted to talk to you guys about is the differences between spirituality and your spiritual tools. And this seems to be a big issue that a lot of people have a hard time understanding. So people will come in sometimes and to my shop and they'll say, hey, I'm very spiritual, I have crystals. Or I'm very spiritual, I meditate, or I'm very spiritual, I do yoga. So there's a very distinct difference between what your tools are and what actual spirituality is. So yoga is actually kind of an exception to the rule because there's two ways to practice yoga, right? If you're practicing yoga just for the exercise of it, then it's not necessarily a spiritual practice. But there is a whole other layer of spirituality that can go in with yoga. So that is kind of the exception. But for example, just working with crystals does not mean that that is a spiritual activity. You can do it without having a spiritual encounter, right? So working with crystals, we're working with the energy of crystals, which is the energy of the earth. Or if you're working with herbs, you're doing the same thing. You're working with the energy of the herbs. If you're meditating, unless you're doing a journey or a guided meditation to connect with spirits, gods, goddesses, ancestors, all of that, generally it's a stress relieving. Meditation is fantastic for stress relief and for people who possibly have issues with anxiety and things like that. So those are tools that can aid you in your spirituality, but them by themselves are not spirituality. So spirituality, really, for me, the best explanation is that it boils down to one thing, which is understanding our place in the world. How do we connect with the rest of the world? And that means, how do we connect with our higher selves? How do we connect with spirit, source, creator, whatever name you have for it? How do you connect with that? And when you connect, you have spirituality is great because it brings you purpose. It brings you kind of a way to evaluate yourself, kind of like a nice mirror to do some self-reflection. But it also brings you in stronger connection with yourself and with the community around you, because it allows you to kind of explore, where is my place in this community? What am I here to do? What am I supposed to do? What makes me feel fulfilled, right? So those are the things that when you practice spirituality, those are the goals that you should have. So yes, you can use crystals to aid in that practice, but that practice in itself does not mean that it does not make a spiritual connection. So you are just basically tapping into the crystals to use their energies to improve your life. And that's great, but that's not the basis for spirituality. So a lot of people say, well, how do I start? Where do I connect? And honestly, the first step, I think, would be connecting to your higher self. There's a lot of meditations there that will connect to that, but a lot of it is just kind of taking a step outside of yourself and kind of feeling, instead of reacting in the moment of things that happen, taking a step back and going, okay, what is the overarching situation? What is going on in my life right now? What do I need to do? A lot of times we get so caught up in the day-to-day that we kind of shoot from the hip, right? We go out going, I got to react to this. I got to put this fire out. I got to do this, this, this. And so when you start connecting with your higher self, you kind of take a step back and things don't necessarily have the same amount of urgency that they normally would have. I mean, obviously some things are urgent, but it's just that you don't have to react to everything. And then little by little, as you discover what your purpose is and you start aligning your life with that purpose, what you'll notice, and I noticed this with a lot of people, is the universe just starts opening doors for you, because now you are walking in purpose. You're walking in where it is that you're supposed to go. All of the energies around you, the energies that you chose before you came into this life and everything else, is supporting you because you're moving into the direction that you need to move into. So a lot of people, when they finally find purpose and they start, working in their purpose and living in their purpose, they come in and they go, oh my God, I just feel like I've been swimming uphill my whole life. And now it feels like I'm finally doing what I'm supposed to do. And that is a big part of what spirituality helps you to achieve. And you can, the connection, in witchcraft, we say that the path to spirit is the path within. So that means you've got to connect to yourself, which is kind of counterintuitive, right? Because you're thinking of spirit, creator, all of that is way up there. But in reality, what it is you are connecting with your higher self first, and then that higher self is what allows you to connect with the greater whole. And the higher self knows your place in the world. That's really why it's important for us to connect with it. A lot of times when we're living here in our everyday lives, we're generally living in a lot of ego that goes on, because ego protects us, it keeps us safe, it helps us to react to things. But higher self is a little bit different. It's connected to spirit, it's connected to that overarching creation aspect. And then when we connect to that, we are really able to kind of look out and say, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So there are 1,000,001 different ways to connect. None of them is wrong. So whatever is right for you to connect, it would be the great way to get started. So that is our topic for this week. And if you want to have a say in what next week's topic is going to be, you can just join us at the Wild Community, WYLD community.com, and then go into the topic of tea time and just put down whatever topics you would like for me to discuss for you during tea time next Friday. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.